And we are live. Welcome back.
Nice.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to Intentional Carnivore with No Carb Life and CarnivoreKipp. And we have today with us Tom from Frugal Prepper. I'd like to welcome Tom here with us. And
Tom has kindly agreed to join us. Tom is from the Frugal Prepper channel, and I spoke to Tom a month or so back, and he's done really well on the carnivore diet. And so, Tom, welcome.
Thanks.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Did you want to say a few words before we get started?
Yeah, I guess I can just kind of let everybody know that doesn't know. So I was 458 pounds about 4.5 years ago. I was extremely diabetic. I had a knee that needed replaced. I had a torn rotator cuff. I had extremely high blood pressure. I went on keto at first, and a couple months ago, I've just switched over to pretty much a pure carnivore diet, which is I hit many stalls, and there was many times I fell off the keto wagon along that way. But I'm right around 275 pounds today. I'm not on insulin or anything anymore. I can't say that my diabetes has recovered. If I eat sugar, it'll spike up, but I'm not on any prescription medications today. I feel great. All my joints work fine. Nothing hurts. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Awesome. Welcome.
well, glad to have you with us, man. It's amazing once you start eating proper, man. What happens, man? When I first came to this way of eating, I was super skeptical about the feasibility, the longevity, the way it worked, and everything else. And then the more you study it, and the more you look into how it affects different people, man, you see some amazing things. And I know I told somebody earlier today, actually, that I know people think that I'm crazy by like the cancer video, the all the different issues that I've spoke to, recently about, and over the last year, really, even in our carnivore group, that this way of eating is the proper human diet. And I know I shouldn't be shocked, but it's almost still shocking now. Whenever somebody like for example, when somebody says, their hair was completely gray and it started turning back to its, natural original color. Like, you're like, what? Yeah. There's nothing else in the world you can do to make that happen. Like people, and I'm not saying it works for everybody the same way, but there are plenty of testimonies about it happening. So it's good to hear different stories of all the good things and benefits that people have seen from doing it.
Speaking of the benefits that people are having, I'm just laughing at a comment from Barb6460 that says, yes, farts have all but disappeared on carnivore.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
I go to the bathroom like once a day, maybe once every 2 days, and it's just a 5-second thing. I go, I wipe, I wash my hands, I'm done.
Yeah.
CarnivoreKipp, man. Has a cat got your tongue, my friend?
No, I'm just not. I'm trying to be nice and not step over y'all. It's good to be here. It's good to be here and talk with y'all tonight.
Absolutely, man. We always have a good time. Oh, 22 Cat says, I can't stay long, but I didn't want to miss Kipp and all you greats. We'll catch the replay for sure. We're glad you made it. Thanks for jumping in and saying hello. We got 87, or at least 87 that I can see folks in here right now. And we want to welcome everybody once again. If you're just now joining us, listen, I appreciate you guys being here. I know these guys do. I look forward to this every single week. Like, this is, something that's become like, I sit there on the lead Fridays, especially leading up to it. And I'm like, man, can we I just want to call them up. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, I think the only person I don't have, obviously I don't have Tom's number, but yet, but I don't have Dave's. I'm like, I wonder how much it costs to call Tokyo, Oh.
Everybody needs to hit the like button.
Yeah, smash like. Sean, can you see that comment there from Alia? I think that's a really good one. 10:05 or 9:05. Let's talk about body odor.
There you go.
I personally, I think this is a really interesting point. I've not had to use deodorant for a week. I smell great. I live in a country that in summer is extremely humid, like is humid as. And last summer was the first time in my life that I've never felt like I needed to use deodorant. And I didn't feel like, I had any kind of body odor. Have you guys felt anything similar?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm glad you said that, man, because I thought I was the only weirdo that just quit using deodorant. Like I just don't need it. Like I don't. And I heard Dr. Barry one time in a video talk about the aluminum that's in deodorant, and not to get like real far out there on into that kind of stuff, because honestly I don't know. I just heard him make the statement about aluminum not being good to put on your skin like that, and you absorbing the metals into your skin. And so I was like, man, I'm just gonna quit using it. Like they say it's not good for you. I don't know if it is or it's not, but I kind of got to the point that I was like, well, if it's bad for me, then I'm just, I don't need it. Even sweating, I sweat, but it doesn't put off that odor like it used to. And I swear it just your body eliminating those toxins out of it. And eventually you just get to the point where, I mean, it's weird to say, and I hadn't really talked about that a whole lot. And now everybody in the chat and on the channel will forever hear it. But I mean, yeah, man, I don't notice it. Tom, what about you, man?
I ran out of deodorant a long time ago, and I never bought any more. Yeah, it's just not a problem anymore. Yeah. What about you, Kipp?
I guess I'm the oddball because so far I still use deodorant. I have noticed that that I don't smell as bad. My armpits and stuff doesn't smell as bad, but for now I still use deodorant. I think it's more out of habit because I've used it for so many years, and maybe eventually I would switch to no deodorant but I mean I just haven't a whole lot.
Awesome. John says, I look forward to this every week too. We look forward to seeing you guys too, John. I appreciate you, man. Oh.
Keith has a question there. Keith FE at 9:07 in the live stream. Well, he posted one that said, any help rearthritis. And yeah, I had arthritis. I had some gout starting in my foot. I was looking at, I had already seen the surgeons, had the MRIs, was going to schedule a knee replacement very soon. It was bone on bone. I had stiff fingers. I couldn't hold things very well. And that's all gone now. Everything's fine. So, and I think the most important part is eating the gristle that has the collagen in it. Helps rebuild the joints.
Yeah, I also had gout. And I took allopurinol and colchicine, and I haven't had to take it. I only had one, what I would call a flare up, and it was after I did like a strenuous, like a jog run extra. I did like an obstacle course, tryout thing, and I hadn't been running or anything in a long time, or just walking a little bit. But I was in like a dead sprint, and afterwards, like the next day, I felt like my ankle was broken. My right ankle had swollen up really bad, and it was sore just like it would be whenever I used to get gout. But that's the only, and that was, I think, early part of April of this year, and I haven't had any issues or had to take colchicine or allopurinol since I started eating this meat. Which kind of further goes to the point that my dad has had an issue with coming to this way of eating, or I guess maybe, accepting the way of eating for himself, because he's under the belief, and he's been told by his doctors that the protein's bad for his kidneys. And I'm like, well, Dad, you do know your kidneys are made out of this protein stuff. So, I mean, it's the proper human diet. It's going to give you the nutrients. So whatever everybody's got to come to the decision for themselves. And obviously I'm not going to give, medical advice there or here, whatever. But, I've seen testimony after testimony of people who have been in stage 3, stage 4 kidney failure and moved back stages by going on the elimination diet, on carnivore, cleaning up, getting the processed foods, the seed oils, and the sugars out of their diet. So, it's worth looking at anyway. Kipp, I mean, what about you with the arthritis? I know you had talked about your shoulder. What can you add to that?
Yeah, I would say that of every benefit that I've gained from the carnivore diet, the most important one, or the one I'm most thankful for, is that the pain in my shoulder has gone. That's better to me than losing the weight, because my shoulder has been hurting for like 3 or 4 years, and I pull it all kind of different ways. It just constantly ached, and I would take different stuff for it, and I don't have to take any pain medicine for it at all. The pain is pretty much gone. I still don't have strength in it like I would like, but the pain is completely gone, and it's because I switched to the carnivore diet.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, just to add to that, I had arthritis in my left knee. That's completely gone now. It's just amazing. And probably that is, I'd say that has been close to the number one life-changing thing for me.
That's a big deal. I mean, so like, when you look at it, I mean, it's easy. I don't know how to say it. We get so focused in on the weight loss, and that's probably the number one reason that I've seen over the last year, people giving up the carnivore way of eating, or going back, or getting discouraged with it. And you cannot put enough emphasis on the non-scale victories, the arthritis and all. So, I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. Let's see. Barb had made a statement. I guess, let me time out. Tactical timeout. I guess I should have said before, and I usually do, if you guys will, just put a Q beside your questions in the chat, and that way I can pick up on them a lot quicker, because I'm slow, okay? So if you'll put a Q beside it, it'll stand out, it'll be obvious, and I'll know where the questions are, and I won't get lost, because I'm like really behind already just reading them. But Barb does say, I'm still confused. I eat eggs. Am I still carnivore? Absolutely, Barb. Eggs are on the carnivore diet. I've eaten eggs every day for probably 8 or 9 months solid. And, when I started out, if it had a face or a mom, it's considered carnivore. So you're good on the eggs. Don't you worry about that. Anybody else? Kipp, do you have anything to add to that?
I still eat eggs. I don't worry about them. I still don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. So I eat eggs. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. It just, I mean, if you don't want to have eggs, I don't think it's a requirement. But if you want to have eggs, I don't see a problem with it. I don't eat them as much as I used to. I eat more like steak and things like that, and hamburgers. But I'm okay with eggs from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, I eat quite a few eggs, and I'm not 100% carnivore, right? Like, I still have some spaghetti squash or something now and then, but I'm really careful to eat really low carb when I do that, and it's a once a week thing, maybe once every 2 weeks. But yeah, eggs are definitely really good for you. I think Dr. Berry did a video about eggs, and he said that have the yellow part runny and the white part hard because it's better for you that way. So that's how I always cook them.
Yeah. And Dave, did you have anything to add?
I just, yeah, it's carnivore. I think eggs are great. I eat 12 eggs a day, and yeah,
Dave probably
they're
has
awesome.
like 100 eggs in his refrigerator right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys know why it became part of Dr. Berry's BBB and E part of what he designed when he came up with that acronym or whatever? I mean, I do. I was just asking if you know, do you guys remember or do you know? So
No.
like everything, and I've seen this question come up. It's the only reason I want to hit it while we're in eggs. The reason everything that's on the BBB and E makeup for the acronym that Dr. Berry, you know, came up with has a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. And so I have seen a lot of people ask, well, I don't like bacon. Can I substitute for this other part of the pig? Or can I, you know, substitute whatever, you know, the beef for a deer or whatever. So the ruminant meat obviously is the ruminant meat. That was part of the plan and, you know, whatever. But everything else, it has a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio, and he designed the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs so that you get a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio. You can substitute bacon for pork belly, but the eggs, you know, if you want to have eggs, you can have the eggs. If you don't like the eggs, you can do the BBB challenge, you know. But as far as substituting and getting the same results, the reason the stuff is on there is because it's on there, you know. And so anyway, maybe that'll help somebody. Susan has a pretty good one. I've been eating carnivore mostly for 6 weeks now. I feel better. Anyway, how do I convince my sad eating husband that this diet is not crazy? He has high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, and Hashimoto. Dave, you want to take a stab at that? Well, I mean, I can, you know.
I would say you can't convince him, right? Like, you know, talk is cheap. Like he's got his mind in a certain place, whether it's, you know, he thinks the sad diet is better, or he just thinks carnivore is crazy, or whatever it is. The only way that he's going to come over, I think, is if you just go, okay, well, I'll do what I want, you do what you want, and then he sees your results in 2 months from now or 3 months from now, and he realizes, hang on, she's sleeping better, she's up earlier, she's running around the house doing all this stuff that she was never able to do before, and, you know, she's half the size she was before. Maybe there's something to this. And she hasn't got scurvy. Maybe there's something to this. I don't know. What do you reckon, Tom?
I think a universal truth is that pain is the precursor to change. And especially with addicts, and sugar is kind of an addiction. That standard American diet is. And until people are in enough pain to want to make a change and start looking for themselves, they just might not change. They just might keep taking their pill.
Yeah. And I would say to just be the example. You know, sometimes, like Dave said, that words are cheap. Sometimes you just need to, you know, live it and be the proof. You know, the same way sometimes because I'm a Christian, understand everybody isn't, but sometimes, like, if I try to pressure people into coming to church, that I might not get the same results than if I just live it. And then, you know, one day they may say, hey, I might want to come to church with you. I kind of see it similar. Just live it and be that example. And, you know, maybe one day they'll decide to give it a try.
I'm trying to turn my phone off because I'm getting messages while I'm right here in the chat. So I absolutely, I would say I would just echo what these guys have said. Honestly, you know, you can lead I know it's cliche. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know, I had people in my family who didn't really agree with what I was saying at first, with as far as the carnivore lifestyle and changing the way of eating. They didn't see how it could be healthy or, you know, or sustainable. But after they saw the results, along with my condition from where I was to where I ended up, you know, it's the best ticket. You know, leave it in front of them. you know, just experience the benefits for yourself and be, I don't want to say very, what's the word, guys? Somebody help me. Whenever you're trying to, you know, leave it on display, you know, just be obviously the example, but anyway, you know, just live it in front of him. He'll grab a hold of it. He'll see it, and eventually he's going to see you so happy that he's going to want what you have for sure. Anyway, oh my goodness. So Dave said it was sunny and nice there. It's raining at my house. What about you, Kipp?
It rained earlier, but we grilled steaks anyway. We just moved the grill underneath the shed and grilled up some steaks. We don't let the weather stop us. And then later on in the evening, it cleared up.
Yeah, for me, it rained overnight, but it was a beautiful 70-degree sunny day today. I got a lot done. Yeah.
Nice.
I see it, Antlers. Addicted to Antler says, depending on whose channel I log into, all the questions, comments don't show up on my end. Might be something I'm doing. I have no idea. We see you now, my friend. We're glad you're here. It's good to see you.
So Addicted to Antlers is just saying, like, whatever channel you're watching, you're only going to get that channel's comments, but we get them all aggregated.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So obviously we're streaming to each individual channel. I guess, Tom, are you streaming to your channel as well?
No, I couldn't figure out how to do it. So
okay. Well, the option was there. So like, I just opened it up to like, so we can all like, if you logged into Kipp's and hit his link, you're on Kipp's channel. If you logged into, you know, Dave's, you're on No Carb Life. If you logged into mine, you're on Intentional Carnivore. So you will, yeah, he's right. I didn't mention that because I didn't think about it. And honestly, until you said it, I just didn't know it. So, but I do remember reading that whenever I was looking at this stuff. Oh, y'all see any questions?
How many people are in the chat?
I'm seeing 111 total right now.
Oh, nice. So, 111.
We got.
So yeah, guys, if you haven't already, please smash the like button. That'll bring more people into the chat.
Absolutely. Yes, and I always forget, so since we're plugging it right now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you need to be subscribed to these 4 channels. It doesn't cost you a dime. You'll get notified whenever we put new content out. You'll be able to join in the conversations whenever we, you know, hop on live. You won't have to try to figure out where to go. You'll be notified about it. So that's something. Subscribe. It's free. Come on. Like and share with your friends. Oh, y'all see anything else?
There was a question there for Tom around 9:21 p.m. Eastern from John Gogangan.
21.
Yes. 9:21 p.m.
Okay, let me grab this one right here right before I'll look for that one while we answer this one. Dream says, what carnivore related books would you gentlemen recommend? Kipp mentioned in a video having bought Dr. Berry's book, for instance. Kipp, what book is that? Can you tell everybody else that might not know about that book and what you would recommend?
Yeah, if they don't know about it, they might still be under a rock, but they need to come out from under that rock and go get it. It's Dr. Kim Berry's book, Lies My Doctor Told Me, and he's working on another book. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but if Dr. Berry had anything to do with it, you should get that book.
Yeah, I have Dr. Berry's Lies My Doctor Told Me. That was the first one I got, and I read that book cover to cover several times. I marked it up, made post-it notes in it, so I can go and reference the studies that he talks about and stuff like that. It's a good book.
Absolutely. Dave, you got any recommendations?
Yeah, look, just echo Dr. Berry's book and also Sean Baker's book to Carnivore Diet.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. I know. There's Lies My Doctor Told Me. There's the Labs book that Dr. Berry wrote with Amber O'Hearn, I think. And then the other one is Sean Baker's book that I would recommend too, Carnivore That's the only ones that I'm sure there's probably more, and my mind goes blank. You guys know, everybody says the carnivore diet clears up your memory, and my memory is clear, but it works so fast. That's why you hear me stepping on these guys a lot or stuttering over my words, because my mind's doing like that right there, so far ahead of how fast my southern drawl will let me speak. You have to bear with my my hickology here. Teresa, any advice for someone just starting carnivore? Tom, you want to take that one?
Well, so I came into it from being on keto for 4.5 years and then switched to pure carnivore. So my metabolism was a lot more flexible. But so I would say just be patient. Don't get upset if you do fall off the wagon. Just get right back on it, and cut yourself some slack. Get the foods out that you can get out. Like, don't have bags of chips laying around if you can help it. But for me, it was pretty easy to adapt to carnivore from keto. Now, when I first went keto, I had a hard time with that. And I just basically took Dr. Berry's little keto cheat sheet and went to the store and bought some stuff. And what I would do when I would have a really big carb craving is I would go eat something keto, and I would eat as much as I possibly could so I was stuffed and couldn't eat another bite. And that would get me through that carb craving. And that's an important thing with carnivore, especially, is to remember to eat enough. It sounds really weird, but I noticed that I've hit a couple of plateaus on carnivore where I weigh every week, and it's like, man, I put on 3 pounds this week. It didn't come off, and my clothes are still fitting looser, so I'm pretty sure that's good. But then I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to cut back. I'm just going to eat half of a steak, right? And that's a mistake because it comes on more. And then I'll go eat a 3-pound chuck roast. I'll wake up the next day and I'll weigh 4 pounds less. It's almost like the more you eat, the faster you lose. It's really weird. But stay off the scale would be another good piece of advice that nobody ever wants to follow. But that's all I got. What about you, Kipp?
For me, I just try to tell myself to not overthink it. Just like an animal in the wild, they wouldn't sit there and think about all these different things. Like, they don't have scales to go by. They don't, which I do check my scales sometime, but they don't have calorie counters or carb counters or all that. They just, they have their diet and they go with it. So just trust the process. Give it time. I mean, if you've done it for 3 months and you're not having any results, then maybe you need to really fine tune what you're doing, because most likely, and if it's been 3 months, you're doing something wrong. And I'm not the person to answer all those questions. I would refer you to one of the doctors or somebody that's more knowledgeable than me. But I just try to keep it as simple as I can and stick with meat. And if I want eggs or tallow or anything like that, and give it time, your body will adjust to this.
I have to mention something. It was Dr. Berry and Kim Howerton wrote the labs book. Like I said, brain fart. I apologize. Dr. Berry, Kim Howerton, not Amber O'Hearn. Amber O'Hearn did an interview with Kelly Hogan about the fat to protein ratio, completely different situation. And my mind ran them together because I was looking at both of them recently. You got anything to add to the advice for somebody just starting carnivore, Mr. Dave?
Yeah, look, just echo what's already been said. And I would say if you haven't been doing like low carb or keto for a while beforehand, then you would want to go slowly, because that's going to be a shock to your system anyway. And so just go slowly, and remember the results you're going to get. It's all about diet. It's nothing to do with exercise and stuff like that. So this is going to work for you. And you don't have to think about it. Like Kipp says, animals in the wild don't think about it. They just eat what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the main thing. You can do it. I heard a quote one time, and somebody said, discipline takes us where love only dreams. And honestly, when you start thinking about it, love shows up a long time after discipline has already been on scene. So discipline is going to be your key. The only thing that I would add would be get your why. Your why is crucial because obviously you start off with a why, but it's easy when you get 6 months or a year down the road to look back at how you started and not remember, because you're on this way of eating. It's going to transform you so quickly, or, so completely. At least in my case, it did. And a lot of the examples that I've seen, from going from the SAD diet to the carnivore way, you're going to get that nutrition. And it's going to change you so much that it's going to be real easy to get down the road just a piece and not be able to relate to the reason why you started anymore. So you need to write those whys down. You need to reflect on those whys, remember those whys, take pictures, even if you hate to see yourself in the mirror or on camera, because you need something to look back to that point in your life when you were miserable and you were sick and tired of your existence, because a lot of people are there, and it's going to drive you. I know you guys are probably sick of it, hearing about that video that I have on this channel that I posted a year ago, but that video drives me. I can't stand the way that I look. I'm embarrassed by the way that I look, but I am absolutely driven by that video because I remember what it was like that day. Yes, I'm embarrassed of where I was, but I'm also so proud that I had made it from the couch to that point. And I'm like, look, it's almost like a double motivator, because I remember what it was like to be on this couch for 3 years and hopeless. I remember what it's like to feel sick and tired with no energy, feel like an embarrassment to my family, feel like I don't have a reason to get up in the morning and go outside. I didn't want to associate with my friends. I didn't want to go to work, even though I couldn't work. And, you might be sitting at home and that's where you're at right now. And those are the people that need to hear this message and need to see it in our lives. The change, not just us on YouTube, because yes, it's awesome. We have a great time, but we're trying to share that information with you so that you can take that information to others who have no hope with that. And the why is critical to getting every single one of us started, to remember and hold on to. So that's just what I would start off with, right there.
John Boston had an interesting question at 9:31.
Yeah. Okay. Do any of y'all use the LMNT?
I tried it. I've gone back to just having table salt. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think you can kind of do your own thing without. You don't need to spend the extra money.
Okay. Yeah. I'm. Let's see here. Let me get. I don't want to leave them out. Yeah. I keep hearing about your body becoming fat adapted. What does that mean, and how long does it take? Tom, you want to hit that one about becoming fat adapted?
So on carnivore, on keto, I was eating 3 times a day, sometimes having a snack. I was getting to where I was hungrier and hungrier. Mm-hmm. And also other things like keto breads and mayonnaise were sneaking into my keto diet, and that was sabotaging me. And when I went carnivore, it's just like, at first I'm eating 3 times a day. I'm like, I'm hungry. I want to eat. And then just like one day I woke up, I'm like, I'm not hungry. I don't want breakfast. And I went to lunch. I'm like, I'm not hungry. I don't want lunch, And then by dinner time I get hungry. And that's how you kind of know your metabolism's adjusting to burning fat. And so like I ate tonight, but I hadn't eaten since yesterday at lunch. So, you're just not hungry and you still have plenty of energy and you don't even think about eating or wanting food. And you can start to trust your hunger then, right? Like, how do you know you're thirsty? Or how do you know you need water? You get thirsty. How do you know you need food? You get hungry, right? When you're not eating the sugar.
That's right. All righty. I'm gonna jump because I'm gonna try to catch up real quick. How much water did you drink a day, Kipp? And salt on your food.
How much water? I don't count how much water I drink. I just drink when I'm thirsty. And I mean, I drink a good bit of water, but I've noticed that since I switched to carnivore, I don't need as much water as I used to, because I was a pre-diabetic, and as a pre-diabetic, I stayed thirsty. And after I got done eating, I was looking for more drink, more drink, more drink. And now if I don't have drink for a while, I don't like freak out about it. But I mean, I still drink a good bit of water, but you got to think water's good for you. And I'm a big guy. I probably take a little bit more water than like a little twig would.
Yeah. I know how much I drink just simply because I have a jug. It's a 64-ounce tumbler. And because those keto chow daily minerals would, the iodine and the flavor of those are so harsh, I would drop them down in there in that big 64-ounce tumbler that I would carry around with me all day. And so normally I would drink it. When I first started doing it, I would drink 2 of those a day. And now I'm about 1 of those a day. So probably about 64 ounces. But I've always been told, Dr. Barry mentions drink to thirst. There's not a requirement. You don't need to drown out your electrolytes and those kinds of things. It's not necessary to hit, a 2-gallon a day goal somewhere. I mean, if you're thirsty, drink. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. If you're not thirsty, don't feel like you have to do it. So that's just kind of where I'm at. You guys have anything Dave, you got anything to add to that, man? Tom? Anybody?
Yeah, if you're not thirsty, don't drink. Not hungry, don't eat. I agree. For me personally, I drink about 6 liters of water today, but that's just a day. That's just because it's more habitual than anything. So I'm not sure what that is in ounces. Maybe you said 64 ounces. I guess that's about 2 liters.
Yeah, right about there.
Yeah. So I probably drink about sorry, did I say 6 liters? I meant 3 liters. So I probably drink just a little bit more than the 64 ounces.
Good deal.
Yeah, I mean, I drink mostly unsweetened tea. I drink some water, but I just don't really like water that much. I like some flavor. I drink coffee. I drink the sparkling waters, but I just drink when I'm thirsty. And I still have a couple of Diet Mountain Dews every day, which is better than the 12-pack and a half I was drinking before. But, for me, it's about focus on that 98% that you're doing really right. And if you have to have a couple extra things, then don't sweat it too much. But I just drink when I'm thirsty. Yeah.
My wife, she's in the chat and she's telling on me for my sparkling waters. I drink I just dropped it, but I drink a bunch of bubbly. But when I'm not drinking bubbly, I drink water. That's pretty much the only 2 things that I drink.
Okay. There you go. So I finally got to John there, and John says, Frugal Prepper, what kind of content do you have on your channel?
Oh, well, go subscribe and find out. So it's just basically about me and my life and different things that I do. So I'm a network engineer for my day job, my 8 to 5 job. I work in IT, and I'm a mobile auto mechanic in the evenings and weekends. And I do a lot of mobile diagnostics and computer programming in cars, as well as mechanical stuff. And I grow a big, huge garden. I don't eat hardly of it anymore, but the neighbors are really happy. So I find it to be really good exercise. So I enjoy growing a big garden.
All righty. Do you all recommend vitamins? What about you, Dave? What do you?
I personally don't take any vitamins, no supplements. The only thing I add to my food is salt. How about you, Tom?
So I occasionally take a boron tablet when I start feeling like I might have some low magnesium, because without boron, you can't absorb the magnesium. And I'm talking like a 5 milligram tablet or whatever every couple weeks. And I take ox bile pretty much with every meal because I do not have a gallbladder. And so I need that to break down the fat. And occasionally I will take a magnesium tablet. And I'll know my magnesium's getting low because I'll get Charlie horses. But really, I haven't had to take the boron or magnesium in like 3 weeks. So that's all I take.
Awesome.
Me, I
Kipp,
take.
how about you?
I take vitamin D3 with K2, and the only reason that I take that is because I'm deficient in vitamin D, and a lot of people in this area, for some reason, I'm part of a Native American tribe, even though I don't look like it. You don't see the feather or anything, but anyway, a lot of the native people around here are deficient in vitamin D for some reason. And so I take vitamin D3 because I've heard that it's better than D2. But if it ever gets to where I don't need it, I would love to just get off the vitamin D altogether and just get it from the sun. But apparently right now I'm not getting enough of it.
Yeah. So I don't take any vitamins. I think I mentioned that last time. I do keep a check on my vitamins, and I'm low in vitamin D. And I tried to get that directly from sunlight, and apparently last summer I wasn't even absorbing enough from the sunlight. So I probably will pretty soon look at incorporating some vitamin D3 into my and K2 into my system, but other than that, it's just literally electrolytes when I need them, and I don't take that very often. I drink water. I got used to drinking just water, and the coffee. So, I put my electrolytes in those, and that's all I have. So, other than that, I try to just get it from the meat. I mean, there's really nothing. I've heard Bart K talk about this, and we talked about that a little bit in the video that I have with him. And he said you can get every new nutritional element that you need out of the food that you eat. You may have to change the variety up of what you eat to get every, organ meats and whatnot to get certain vitamins. But you can get everything you need from the meat. I actually had somebody on my channel last night comment and ask about scurvy from the sailors coming here from America. And I'm like, listen, man, and I really wanted to I wish at that time we were on the video chat because, I'm going to look at the people that's been doing this for 10 years that are here right now, like Kelly Hogan, for example. And does Kelly have scurvy? Does Kelly have, rickets and the issues that we talk about with the guys selling over here? There's no telling what all they were exposed to cause the rickets and the scurvy. Maybe it was from what they were eating. Maybe it was from some other reason. I don't know, but the conditions are quite differently. But I can tell you some lab values and show you some blood work that I have had done that proves it to me that there's absolutely 100% no way that you can convince me that eating the carnivore, let me just back up. The proper human diet is in any way harmful or deficient of anything that would cause me to be optimal in my health. So, I mean, that's just kind of where I land on it, Let's see here. We got a lot of people from New Zealand today, my friend. Oh, what do we got? I don't see any cues. You guys see? I'm at 34 after. What do you guys see in the comments?
Someone asked about organ meats. It was Marissa Ivany at 844.
Okay.
I don't know if you see that.
I'm scrolling. I'm going right there. On the way there, I passed one. How about that one? Could you guys say all of your YouTube channels if you have one so I can subscribe? So I'm Intentional Carnivore. Mr. Dave?
Zero Carb. At Zero Carb.
Me?
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, Tom?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Frugal Preppers Garage and Garden. I also have a backup channel called Frugal Preppers Extras because my YouTube channel got hacked a while back, and that was the only way I had to communicate with my subscribers for a couple weeks. And I run another channel called Network Engineers Playground where I put up all kinds of computery stuff.
And I'm I'm CarnivoreKipp barbecue and cast iron. But if you just search CarnivoreKipp, I'll come up. You can't miss me. I'm the big guy in the picture.
Not for long, my brother. Not for long. Oh man, we appreciate you having us. I hope you jump on, subscribe to those channels, hit those like buttons, and share those videos with your friends. Oh, Angel says I am late to the live, but how long have each of you been carnivore, and what has improved? We'll start with CarnivoreKipp. How long have you been on it, and what's improved? What I guess we could say, how long have you been on it, and what is the best thing or major thing that you are excited to see happen since you started?
Well, I started January 2nd. It was the day after New Year's, and it has been amazing. Like I hate using that word because I use it in my videos all the time, but I don't know how else to explain it except for it's been incredible. When I started, I was almost 500 pounds, and right now I'm like still over 400 pounds. I think I'm like 406, and I've lost 80 pounds, and that's a great thing. But I would say the best thing that's happened is the shoulder pain being gone. Like that shoulder that's been aching for so long, the pain has just stopped. And as far as what I look forward to, I've struggled for so long to be able to walk. Like I don't never want to go on long walks. I don't like going to amusement parks that much because I'm going to be tired way before everyone else is, and I'm going to feel like a burden to everyone else, or I'm holding everyone up. But now I'm more excited about doing those things, and I'm just excited to be able to live my life again and be able to go places and not worry if I'm getting on an airplane, if I'm going to be able to fit in the seats. There's so many things whenever you weigh that much weight that you miss out on in life that other people don't realize. So I'm just excited about what the future holds and being able to go and enjoy life.
100%. Dave, what about you, man?
So I've been on 11 months now, and the biggest improvement for me is related to a stroke that I had when I was 17 years old. So I at 17 I had a stroke, and since 17 I've had balance issues and a limp on my right side, and that has dramatically improved on carnivore, which a problem I had, which had remained basically static for 30 years, to suddenly start improving is amazing to me. There's that word again.
Tom?
I'd say that the biggest improvement of me just since starting carnivore was I cut out all of the seed oils that I was getting on keto. And so I developed macular degeneration while I was on keto. I had some diabetic retinopathy before that. And I saw a video with Dr. Barry talking with the eye surgeon that said it was seed oils that's causing macular degeneration. Something like 1 in 12 people now will get macular degeneration in their lives. I had to get eye shots. They were $2,000 a time, and it was every month and every other eye. And I had to have them burn my retina with lasers because it was bleeding. I still have some dark spots in my eye, but it stopped getting worse. So I don't have to go blind. That's the biggest thing. Yes. And the other thing is nothing hurts. Like I worked all day, like cutting grass, weed eating, trimming, tilling the garden, planting plants. I got up the next day and nothing hurt, like not a single acre pain. And the clarity of thought that I have, my ability to process what people say and come up with reaction has just gotten so much better and quicker. My mind's clear.
Well, and the thing too, whenever I was going and checking Tom out, to before he come on the show, you know, I seen videos where he was testifying to his blood pressure coming down. You were diabetic for years. You've seen a lot, you know, the improvements in that. So are you a type 1 or type 2? I didn't catch that part.
I'm a type 2.
Type 2.
And so, I mean, and that was mostly resolved with the keto. So I was 458 pounds. I was on 250 units of basal slow acting insulin a day, Humulin U500. And then I took a Novolog. And so I took another 75 to 100 units of Novolog, depending on what I ate. I was on 5 blood pressure medications and pain medications and like nerve medications for nerves in my foot that were acting up, and just all kinds of stuff. I could barely walk. I could barely move. And I was always still pretty active. I still fixed cars and gardens, but much slower then. And just like all that has gone away now. I'm not on any prescriptions anymore. So
would you trade that for a chili cheeseburger and some fries and or some ice cream or
one bite of ice cream? You know,
yeah, I mean,
no, I wouldn't.
You absolutely cannot put a price tag on that.
Right.
You're talking about fixing something, reversing an issue that. Why in the world would his doctor not say, hey, listen, man, you've got type 2 diabetes. This is the only thing that can fix your problem. Get on the carnivore diet, cut the sugar, you know, keto, carnivore, get on the ketogenic spectrum, cut all this sugar, carbs, processed seed oils out of your life. And let's work on getting this issue that's going to deteriorate your body rapidly over the next however many years and take your quality of life away. It's critical. It's critical. If they don't know, you know.
My doctor actually fired me. So I'm without a doctor right now. So.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, he might have done you a favor. Maybe, you know, as bad as it is, you know, if they're not going to learn how to fix problems and say the truth, then, you know, maybe we should definitely fire them. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm 49 now. I first found out I was diabetic when I was 28.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been through years and years of taking massive amounts of insulin. Like I have one spot on my belly that's bigger than the other side now that I'm losing weight, and that's where I always injected my insulin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take longer to go down, you know.
Big changes. Did we get everybody? I think we got everybody right.
I wanted to add something to that. Okay, so I see how he said that he was on like 5 blood pressure medications and everything, and I can't say that I was to that point yet, but I think what happened was I caught it very early because they had already put me, because I'm only 29 right now. I'll be 30 next week, and like he said, a lot of it started happening when he was 28. So I had been overweight my whole life, and I think it was starting to catch up with me, and all the carbs and all the sugar was really doing damage to my body. And I had finally got to that point where last year the doctor was like, hey, by the way, you're pre-diabetic and we want to put you on metformin, and we want to give you this blood pressure medicine. And they were telling me you need this cholesterol medication and all this other different stuff. And it was getting to that point where I just had to be like, okay, so how do I want to live my life? Do I want to be someone that always takes pills to fix these problems and just put a Band-Aid on it? Or I really want to dig in and find something that's going to help me to have good health. And that's what led me to where I'm at today, to be on this journey with you all. And I appreciate all of y'all, because I haven't really got a chance to watch Tom's channel yet, but I've watched both of y'all's channels, and all the comments from everybody on my channel. And even when I'm watching other carnivore videos, whenever I'm going through the comments on their channels, all that stuff is inspiring to me, and all the stories. And I'm excited to be on this journey with y'all.
100%. Like I said, I look forward
definitely.
to it. I was gonna say this after everybody got done. That's my sister-in-law, and she's a nurse practitioner. So like we're talking to the medical community. I talked to another friend of mine earlier today who is a nurse that works in the ER. So the medical community is finding out about it. So you know, which I mean, that's not something that's new, you know, obviously, but there are people within the system, Dr. Berry's and the, you know, Angel O'Shields and from high to low and everything in between, that's going to be able to hold the truth accountable in every light because they're going to experience it, they're going to see it, and they're going to be able to recognize it. Because I know that Angel's in there telling people about it. She tells me about it all the time, being able to tell people. So, all right, there you go. Miss Cassie, thank you guys for being here tonight. Carnivore Quest. Miss Cassie asks, Tom, do you raise your food?
So the few vegetables that I eat, I do grow in my own garden. But other than that, I can't afford this, you know, grass-fed, grass-finished panda massage, as Dr. Berry would say, meat, right? So I just go to the local Kroger's and I buy what's on sale. And I buy a bunch of it when it hits $4.99 a pound. That's my buy price, and I have a big stand-up freezer full of beef and meat. And I am looking at buying a cow, and it's going to be around $2,700 to get it all processed and buy the cow. And it's grass-fed, grass-finished. It's a local farm here, but you know, I just. Even the meat that you get at the grocery store that's corn finished, it's still 100 times better than eating Rice Krispies, you know. So I don't worry about that. I do buy some eggs from a local farm when they have them, but mostly I just buy the pasture raised eggs at Kroger's.
Somebody else asked you one. Is the doctor firing you related to you doing carnivore?
So it came down to where I gotten off many of my medications, but he still said my aldosterone was a little bit too high because I'd had all these scans and stuff for my blood pressure. So my blood pressure used to be, without medication, 250 to 280 for my top number, like super stroke territory. Like I could drop dead at any moment. My eyes would pulse. I would hear my heartbeat in my ears. I would get dizzy if I stood up too fast after bending over. On medication, they could get that down to 170 or 180. And my aldosterone was in the normal level, and he wanted to put me on this aldosterone medication. Well, it has this weird side effect in that it makes your nipples really sensitive. And I just wasn't comfortable with that. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just going to take lisinopril and the metoprolol. Those don't make me feel bad. And then I got a letter saying that he was dropping me as a non-compliant patient. So
there you go. Like I said, you guys, if you haven't done so, we finally got caught up on the questions. If you have a question, now would be a great time to get it in. Put a Q beside the question. And also, I would like to challenge everybody, wherever you're at, whichever channel you're on, in the comment section down below, why don't you write what non-scale victory you have seen that's going to help the person who sees this video tomorrow or day after tomorrow or whatever to give testimony. That's a big encouragement. You never know who you're going to influence. So no matter where you're watching it, hit those comment section up with your non-scale victories. You can list 1, you can list 10. Everybody can list something that's been doing this way of eating. If you haven't been doing this way of eating, what you waiting on? Today's a good a day as any. I got one from Thomas here. Unless you guys have something to add. I mean, Mr. Tom, go ahead. Sorry. About the gout. Have not had a gout attack in 4 months, but still on Purinol. When did you stop your med, Sean? So I wouldn't take my allopurinol would mess my stomach up so bad that I would take it like every other day. And I would take my colchicine, obviously, only whenever I had a flare up or I felt one coming on. So I literally stopped about, I guess it was probably 2 weeks after I started the carnivore diet, and I hadn't went to BBBE yet, but I quit taking it all together because it just kept making me, the allopurinol just kept making me sick to my stomach, and I literally just haven't picked it up since. So I mean, it didn't take long, and I was really worried about it too because one of the next medications that I came off of was HCTZ that was in with my lisinopril for blood pressure. HCTZ causes your testosterone to drop and your blood sugar to go up. It's a side effect of the HCTZ and your blood pressure medication. And so, but it is the water pill side of the blood pressure medication. So I was scared that I was going to retain fluid and retain the uric acid, and it was going to cause my gout to flare up. But it didn't. I had no issues, like I said, until, like I mentioned earlier, I did that course in April. So probably about 2 weeks, like I said, afterwards, I just quit taking it. And it wasn't something that I even talked to my doctor about. I'm not doing it. So, y'all see anything else? What medications have you guys been able to come off of? I know, Tom, you talked about your, diabetes. What other medications
I can't remember all the names of all the different blood pressure medicines they've tried. I have them in gallon Ziploc bags downstairs, but it's like 2 big full Ziploc gallon bags full of different medications that they tried. But I was taking lisinopril and metoprolol before, and I'm not anymore. And lisinopril was the last one I came off of. And I was on a 40 and I started cutting it in half to 20 and then came off of it. So today my blood pressure will be normally in the 130s. Occasionally it hits a 140 for a top number. I'm absolutely fine with that. Something else is going to kill me long before my blood pressure does,
Absolutely.
And I'm ecstatic about those numbers, but I was on 5 metformin a day. They normally max it out at 400 or 500 gram tablets at 2 grams. I was on 5. I was on tons of insulin. I've tried all the Byetta shots and like different shots for diabetes over the years. Mm-hmm. Most of those have some pretty nasty side effects. And so I just wanted to be just on the insulin. But my A1C on 300 units of insulin a day will say came back at 14. Mm. And I was just like, I put on another 10 pounds. My A1C is at a 14. My blood pressure's out of control. I got to do something. And that's when I found Dr. Berry, the first time.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, and that's the thing I try to tell people, I've talked with some of the people some medics that I used to work with, and they always ask, what did you do? What is it? What is it? And even more so than sharing my story, because normally they've seen that already, and that's why they're asking me. I strictly I go straight for that insulin. And that's the first thing that I want to mention to people, because whether you're a type 2 diabetic or you're not a type 2 diabetic, the main key that you need to remember, and there's other issues, don't think this is the only one, keep that blood sugar from spiking by eating all the toxic food. You keep the insulin low, which gives your body the ability to access fat. When you start burning fat for fuel, it's like a lock and key. You keep the blood sugar low, you keep the insulin low, and it's it unlocks the ability to use that fat. So that's the key to losing weight. The first key, sleep, that's another one. Hormones, that's another one. There's many other ones, but that's one of the big ones.
Like last week, I took my fasting blood sugar when I woke up, and I had been fasting since about 11 a.m. the day before. So, and it was 72. I've never seen a number that low,
Right. I mean, it's shocking, I was a pre-diabetic for 25 years before I creeped into type 2 diabetes, and now my A1C is 5.2, and my C-peptide, I didn't even have it tested this time. Last time I had it tested, it was 2.5. So, it works wonder. If you're suffering from type 2 diabetes, here's your key.
Yeah.
All righty. Have any of you experienced leg cramps? My wife and I are into carnivore since January, and this is the one issue we are dealing with. Kipp?
Let me read the question. I haven't. Well, let me think about it. I did actually. I was actually looking at a comment from someone, but I did get like a 1 or 2 leg cramps that, if I remember correctly, and I know I probably during that time I should have been like having electrolytes, or that's what people say, like you need more electrolytes or whatever. But I just kind of added a little extra salt to my food, and I didn't have issues with it anymore. And I guess as I've adapted to eating this way, I haven't really had issues, except for like early in the beginning, I caught leg cramps like 1 or 2 times while I was laying in bed at night.
What did you do to combat it? Anything? I mean,
just I added extra salt to my food the next day, and for like a week or so after that, I just made sure that I was having more salt in my food, and since then I haven't really had any issues with it.
Awesome. Dave, you got anything to add to that? You experienced a lot of cramps?
Yeah, and I still get leg cramps from time to time, like, early morning lying in bed, suddenly I'll get a cramp. It just tells me that I need to add more salt, that I haven't had enough salt recently. And so I'll just, as long as I keep the salt level up, I'm good.
Awesome.
Tom, how about you?
So yeah, I mean, I came from having severe plantar fasciitis before, to where that's mostly resolved now, but I still have to stretch out my calf muscles now and then if they start to feel tight. As far as cramps, like I get Charlie horses, and when I get Charlie horses, I need magnesium or boron, because boron is what lets you absorb the magnesium. But I'll usually just take some no salt. I'll take a magnesium tablet, and I'll take some Redmond's real salt, and I will, take a boron tablet, and it goes away.
Awesome. I got a question for you, Tom. Like, so basically, when I was watching your stuff and you were talking about your gallbladder, you had your gallbladder out before you went carnivore, correct?
Yeah, I actually had it out before I was even diabetic.
Okay.
So about 4 years before I was diagnosed with diabetes. And I had gone on an Atkins diet, and I had lost about 85 pounds. And then the gallstones hit, and I had severe acute pancreatitis. It landed me in the intensive care unit for nearly a week while they got me stable enough to have surgery on Demerol and Dilaudid, which barely touched the pain. In fact, when they finally got the gallbladder out, they were like, do you need some pain medication? Because we just cut you open and put staples in you. I'm like, no, I'm fine. This pain's nothing compared to what I had before. Yeah, so yeah, it was years of the standard American diet, and I had a sludgy gallbladder, and I went Atkins, and I had just ate like 5 bratwursts with all the grease and sausage, and my gallbladder went to empty, and those stones hit it, and it plugged it up, and that backs up to your liver swells, you can't pass anything through your stomach. I was vomiting for 3 days straight, and just the pain got worse and worse. And I was actually at work running to the bathroom to throw up, and they were like, you look really pale, and we need to call you an ambulance. I'm like, oh, I'll drive to the hospital.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your transition...
Charmed Mom, I was going to say that no, you can go ahead and say the response that you were going to say, but after that, at 9:06, Charm Mom had a good question about bacon.
Oh, did I miss one? Let me go back. No, I was just going to say, do you see any problems now digesting the fat? Since you don't, there's a lot of people that struggle out there because they have no gallbladder, or they're getting ready to take their gallbladder out. And so you do see a difference, obviously, but if you don't have a gallbladder, can you just briefly just mention for them how you have had to transition and what you take that will helps you to digest stuff?
Yeah. So I take ox bile. I've tried bile salts, which ox bile actually has bile salts in it. So your small intestine reabsorbs that bile and feeds it back to the liver, and it can produce more bile. And you still have your bile duct connected to your duodenum, so you're still making bile, but you can't concentrate it like 20 times and give it a big squirt all at once. So what I do is, you're taking ox bile, it's an acid neutralizer. So you want to eat the fat, give it a couple of hours to digest and circulate around in the fat, and then you take the ox bile, and that helps break the fats up so that you can absorb them in your small intestine. If I don't take enough ox bile, I'll get constipated. If I take too much, I'll get diarrhea. So it's kind of a constant balancing act that way too. But I usually just take one ox bile when I eat, one 500 milligram one, sometimes two if I eat a whole bunch of fat or have a whole stick of butter.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are dealing with the gallbladder issue, and they getting sick to their stomach and trying to figure out something with that. So I just wanted you to cover that for them.
Yeah, you will get really, really queasy. You will get super nauseous, like to where you're not going to throw up, but you almost just want to run to the bathroom and put your finger down your throat because you're feeling so nauseous. If you don't take the ox bile and you eat a lot of fat. Yeah.
All righty. Charm Mom, do you eat any sugar-free bacon? It's so expensive in Australia. I love bacon, but don't want to eat it unless it says sugar-free. What you got? What you got, Mr. Kipp?
I was gonna let you answer that question.
But, you will call me out. No.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I mean, I will. I don't
think.
have a problem. I feel like I always jump on top of it, and just start talking. So I will pass it off. I'm about to call on Big Dave. He's getting comfortable. He's gonna go to sleep on me. What you got? So I mean, obviously, I don't worry about the sugar in bacon. Most bacon is cured with sugar. By the time it gets cooked and everything, it's not gonna be harmful to the point to where I'm worried about it. Hasn't slowed me down. I did stop eating it just because for some reason I just didn't want it for a while. This past weekend I had it 2 days in a row. I'm pretty sure my wife cooked it for me this morning. Whenever she's home, she gets up and she'll do eggs and bacon. And lately I've been like, hey, let me get some of that bacon. So, but I don't let it slow me down. Obviously, if it's expensive where you live, eat what you can afford, man. There's no sense in going broke trying to keep up. It's a freeing diet, man. You don't have to have bacon, but
yeah,
I wouldn't worry about it. If the sugar is what you're worried about, I wouldn't get anything with like some of the weird flavors that like the maple bacon that have sugar added after it's been cured. If that's what you're talking about. But as far as the curing process and the sugar and stuff that's added to cure it, you're good to go with that. I feel like, I mean, maybe somebody else like Dave, you got something to add to that? I mean,
I think the key there that you said is to do the best that you can. And I think we can also fall into the trap of thinking too much about, what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating. And the thing is, like, if let's say you've been on a carnivore diet for 2 months and you really want to get some bacon, go and try that bacon and see how it affects you. And if you do okay, then, maybe it's all right for you. And maybe, the sugar that's been on it during the curing process or whatever makes no difference in your body. It's always going to come down to the individual anyway.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything to add on that?
I would say, so I don't know if you're in the US or not, but we have a semi-local grocery chain where I'm at called Kroger's, and they have a lower sodium bacon, which you can just add some Redmonds to it, and that fixes the low sodium. But it has no sugar in it when it's cured. And then the Aldi's uncured bacon has no sugar. So those are two good options. I don't really worry about it. Like if I find bacon on sale, I'm buying it, whether it has sugar in it or not. But if I can get it without sugar, I will,
Absolutely. It's on you now, buddy. Mr. Kipp.
Look, I'm just a good old country boy from South Alabama, y'all. So listen, I will eat bacon, and I'll eat potty meat if I have to, if that's what's in my budget. I'll eat Wiener sausages, any of that little stuff like that. If I have to get by, it don't bother me. I'm not scared of it. I feel better eating even like a hot dog. I know it might not be the cleanest thing in the world, but I would rather eat that than eat pizza. Or I would rather eat bologna than to eat cereal. In a pinch
100%.
I'll get by, but I don't want those things to be something that is like my every meal, but I do incorporate them in my diet, especially when I'm traveling.
A hot dog is nothing but a supersized Vienna sausage anyway, right?
That's right. I love it.
I'm just messing with. He said Vienna. You know that's Alabama. We don't even do that in South Carolina, dude.
Roll Tide.
He said roll tide. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. It's always good, man. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I ain't worried about the bacon. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Where are we at? I don't see any more questions. If you guys got it, we got 164 people in the chat.
Nice.
And so, you guys like it, subscribe it, get the word out, get your questions in, put a Q beside them. If I missed it, you can repost it. Just put a Q out because I scrolled. I'm at the end of everything here. So, man, oh, go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
I'm just scrolling back through them to see if there's any that come up that we might not have answered. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, see if I missed something. Keep up on it. Kipp, you got anything you getting ready to smoke or anything cool going on with the grill right now? Somebody commented, actually sent me a message and said you need to ask Kipp if he's done I think it was a pork belly.
You need to ask my wife, because I told my wife that, because I grilled steaks today, and if I had it my way, I would fire up a smoker every day. But sometimes she's like, you need to give that thing a break. But
What?
I want to fire up the smoker either tomorrow or the next day, because I'm off Monday also. But I'll just see what my wife has me doing, or see if I'm too busy to do it. But yeah, I still have like a brisket in the freezer that I want to cook, and some pork belly. If you've never watched my channel, I cook. This is a little plug for my channel. I cook barbecue all the time, and so if you want to learn barbecue tips, come check me out.
Yeah, I followed some of your advice on the videos, and I made ribs out on the grill for the first time, and I put the rub on them, the no carb spice rub, and then I blackened them real quick on their high heat. Then I cranked the heat way down to like 225 to 250 right in there. I wrapped them up in foil. I put them on the grill. I left them on there about 3.5 hours, and it was delicious.
Awesome.
So Kiwi Nurse, how do you guys feel about butter, ghee, and cream? Dave?
I avoid those things. I actually haven't had cream at all, but I avoid butter totally now, and that's because when I was having it, I had a tendency to overeat it, and that was increasing my bathroom visits.
Yep.
So I had to get that out.
Yep, it'll help us slip right out of there.
Yeah. Kipp, how about you?
I don't do heavy cream at all. But I do still have butter sometimes. I'll take like a teaspoon and put it on my steak or whatever. When I first started, I was putting tons and tons of butter, but as time went on, I was getting so full, and then also I was constantly on the toilet, like you were talking about, Dave. So I've cut the butter back, and I still have it because I love the taste of butter, but I don't have it with every meal. But sometimes when I'm cooking a steak, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put me a dab of butter on there. But and then ghee, I haven't tried ghee yet, but I've heard that it's a better option than butter. So maybe I'll try that at some point. But mostly when I cook, I use tallow instead of anything else.
I still use a lot of butter, but I mean, I say a lot of butter. I probably put about 3 pats. I think there's a picture on my channel of a steak on what I eat. It's either what I eat in a day or how to carnivore, how to start. And it's got a picture of a steak that I would normally eat it. If you eat too much fat, you're going to be in the bathroom. You're going to know you had too much fat. If you don't have enough, you're not going to be in the bathroom. You're going to you're going to know you need some more fat. So, I mean, I think butter and ghee's great. I don't go as far to the lactose side of the dairy spectrum to eat cream or cheese or sour cream or anything like that for that reason. I want to stay to the fat side of the dairy spectrum more so than anything else. Butter is typically between 80 and 82% fat. And so that leaves, anywhere from 20 to whatever percent of milk particles for the lactose, casein, carrageenan, all that stuff to be involved in it. I think as far as getting the sugar and whatnot, you're pretty safe when you get up around butter, and especially the clarified butter, which is ghee. But that's really the reason why, I just stick with that. I think that I was going to get Believe Girl, but she said she's 3 weeks. What about the dairy? I think that kind of just got covered with what I just said. The dairy, if you're not careful, it's the lactose, the casein, the carrageenan. That's kind of the same thing. What about you guys? Y'all got anything to add on dairy? I mean, I feel like
so I eat lots of butter because it's delicious, and I also make my own ghee and put it in canning jars, and I cook with that and eat that as well. A heavy cream, I used to put it in my coffee. I don't anymore. I just drink my coffee black now. But occasionally when I have like some spaghetti squash and meatballs, I'll make an Alfredo sauce out of heavy cream. But I would say cream and cheese are a special treat. They're an exception. Mm-hmm. They're not a part of my everyday diet.
Can I just jump in on the cheese thing, just to say this is my first chance to actually talk to Kipp face to face. Thank you, Kipp, for laying down the challenge last week. So if you weren't here last week, Kipp challenged me to cut out cheese for a while and see what happened. I was eating about 200 grams of cheese a day, and it's been a week now that I've got that out, and feeling much better, and seem to be losing weight. Not sure whether that's water weight or whatever, but yeah, it's had very positive effect.
Awesome. That's exactly what John asked next, and you just covered it. That's what I was going to break into, was how's the cheese going, and I was going to mention that, but it's like our minds were connecting through ESP. Picked it up, man. So I feel like you covered it. And that's one of the big things I kind of want to plug right there, is like, even more so than us answering questions, which I love that part. And I love us being able to come on here and fellowship and bringing other channels in and just having a good time, man. We are still on this just like the rest of you guys. It's not like we achieved some certain level and then all of a sudden, like, we're the experts and we can, whatever. We're all in this thing together. That's the biggest thing that I want to do. The whole purpose of this is to bring these answers and what we found successful to you guys. But just like Kipp brought the challenge to Dave last week, man, he just helped my man in his journey. And how would you get that if you're not together with your other buddies, doing this kind of thing? So I think that's a crucial point that even like the four of us need to realize, it's not all about, just everybody else. We're still in this journey too. And I think that's a big thing that we got to, obviously maybe I'm talking to myself. I'm looking at myself in this screen right now, that I need this because I need to remember, and I need the help and tips that you guys bring every week. So, I mean, I appreciate you guys for that, man. And it pushes me to do better.
100%. It's like the community part of this is so important.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was really cool that Dave actually took the challenge on. I kind of said it in fun, and I was just kind of like picking with him. And then next thing I know, he actually did it. And I was like, wow, he actually did it. And I was super happy when I found out that you got good results by it, Dave. That made me really happy because I know whenever I have cheese, it kind of stalls my weight loss and it kind of messes with me a little bit. And it may do that. If it did that for you, if anyone else is having cheese, that might be something that they could just try for a few weeks and just see if it makes a difference by cutting it out.
Absolutely. How is the support from your respective families? I have shots of heavy whipping cream. Tom, how is the support from your family?
Pretty good. I mean, my wife's all on board with what I'm doing. And she's removed seed oils and she's more keto. She still has some veg and stuff, and she likes cottage cheese and stuff like that. But she's really thin. In fact, since she's started eliminating the seed oils and going more carnivore, she's actually getting that nice little 6-pack going on, and my oldest son is keto now, and he's cleaning it up. He was real dirty keto, and now he's going more carnivore. And he's lost like 52 pounds so far in like about 5 months or so. My youngest son will not eat meat. When he was really young, he asked me like, Dad, where do chicken nuggets come from? And I'm like, chickens? And he's like, you mean like from eggs? I'm like, no, they kill the chicken and grind it up and make nuggets out of it. And then he just didn't ever want anything to do with meat. In fact, to get him some protein, because he's having a protein deficiency, I actually had to buy a box of vegan chicken nuggets and like rip them out and throw them away and put Tyson in the box and like tell him like, look, well, these are made from vegetables, He's starting to eat some bacon once in a while. He'll eat a bite of steak or two. I just get as much in it as I can, but he is mac and cheese and white bread and but he doesn't have a weight problem at all. So he's really thin like his mother. I'm hoping as he gets a little older, he's 14 now, that he'll come around. But but I mean, they're all supportive of me eating what I want to eat. So
yeah. Kipp, what about your family, man? How are they supportive?
They're all supportive of me, and but no one in my family is on the carnivore journey like I am. And so I just try to, like I was saying earlier, I try to just be an example. And I would say that my wife, she's very supportive of me, and I noticed as this journey has went on further that she's become even more supportive of it. Initially when I said, hey, I'm going to do this for a few weeks, she was like, I don't know, that kind of sounds crazy because and it's so different than what we've ever heard from anyone. And so I can understand why she was a little hesitant, but I think as she started seeing the results and seeing how much better I felt, and especially when she's seen that shoulder pain go away, she was like, that's awesome. And she's been behind me 100% since then. And she's kind of cheered me on along the way.
Awesome. Dave?
My family is not on this in any way, but they are very supportive and they can see the results that I've had from it. So it was a little bit tough at first to convince my wife, like, I don't want any of that. As nice as it is, I don't want your cooking. But after a while, and maybe being a little bit irritated with the fact I was turning things down, she could understand that I was getting results, so they support me.
Awesome. So my family's supportive. My mom actually started eating this way. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law are eating this way. My wife is now 3 weeks into eating this way. And none of them were eating this way whenever I started. So they're very supportive, and they've seen such a dramatic change in my life and whatever that they've taken it on themselves to try to improve their health as well. So very supportive. I mean, my family supports me. Most of my family would support me no matter what I did, but they are taking it a step further by trying it, because not only did they support me, but they see the benefits and the effects that it had on my life. So I think it, kind of speaks for itself. Thanks for the question. Do you guys eat? Do you guys eat wild eggs or just yolks? I think maybe
egg whites.
Egg whites, yeah. Dave, you want to take that one?
I eat everything.
Yeah,
the whole egg. Tom, how about you?
Same here.
So I do make a keto mayonnaise with avocado oil, and I just use the egg yolks in that. But other than that, I always eat the whole thing, and I like eggs scrambled, over easy, sunny side up, hard boiled. Any way you can make them, I'll eat them.
I actually have a video on this channel what I eat in a day. I eat deviled eggs with butter mixed with the yolks. I don't have an issue. I do know some people have an issue with the egg whites, but I haven't had an issue with it, so I eat it all. I feel like it's one of my main staples.
So I'm gonna have to stop my camera for a minute here and go grab my laptop charger because my battery's about to go dead.
Oh yeah, right, grab it, buddy. Grab it. Let's see here. Mr. Dave, is keto and carnivore big in Japan?
Not big at all. Yeah, it's kind of very counter to the culture here, and I've searched around for groups, even foreigner-based groups here, and there's just nothing. So yeah, I'm kind of locally, I'm a bit alone here.
Yeah. All righty. Well, he should have held on just a second. I was actually getting ready to wrap it up, and we're pushing it an hour and a half, and I could continue talking on forever. I think it's awesome. I have such a good time, man. But I know Kipp, he's got to get in the bed. He's got stuff he's got to do. I've got to get in the bed. I've got stuff to do, and I would love to rock on for about 2 more hours. But if you have any last minute questions or anything, throw those in there, and we'll try to answer 1 or 2 more, and then we're going to jump off here and head for the house. But like I said, before we finish, as Tom is getting his stuff back, I just want to thank everybody for being here once again. You guys hit the comment section up down below. Let us know those non-scale victories like we were talking about earlier. If you're not subscribed, it really does help us out. If you subscribe to the channel, it doesn't cost you anything. It gets content out to more people. It reaches more people with the message. And that's what I appreciate about the people that we do work with, is that they're getting that message out. That's the priority. I get wrapped up. These guys have been very encouraging to me, because sometimes I get wrapped up with the YouTube numbers and these different things. And while, it's something that you got to think about, it can't be the main focus. The main focus obviously has to be getting the message out, and I want to keep the main thing. So, I appreciate these guys for encouraging me with that. But you guys subscribe, like the stuff, check out the channels, comment in the sections, be active. The more active you are in the community, the more we can be active with you, and the more the others can be active with you. And it's a great way to hold you accountable. It's a great way to have that camaraderie that can keep pushing you forward. And I appreciate it. Tom, as I was just telling him, I was like, you should have held on just a second. We get ready to wrap this thing up. Man. I guess the only way to close it out, man, is to just thank everybody. I want to give Tom the opportunity to share a message and close his section out and give a message to the people from the channel here. And then we'll just go to Mr. CarnivoreKipp and then Dave, and then I'll close it out and we'll call it a night, guys. Thank you all for being here. Go ahead, Mr. Tom.
Yeah. I just want to say that, You don't have to be in pain. You don't have to be fat. You don't have to be diabetic. You don't have to get cancer. You don't have to get Alzheimer's and dementia. You don't have to have gout. You don't have to have legs that swell up. This is all fixable, and it's all because of what you eat. Eating a proper human diet, even if that's more ketogenic than it is carnivore, but getting rid of the seed oils and getting rid of the carbohydrates is going to improve your life. And I have people all the time ask me, well, I have this medical condition, or I had heart bypass surgery, I had this. And, I'm not a doctor, but my answer is, are you human? Yes. Are you still alive? Yes. Then eating a proper human diet is going to help you. It's not going to hurt you, and it can only help. So that's what I'm on a mission, is to find people that were in a situation like I was, and they're trapped, and they keep going to doctors and more doctors and doctors and doctors and taking more pills, and they just get worse. And there is a way out of this. Diabetes is not a disease that doesn't go away. It does go away. And everything in your body can heal. And you don't have to die young. Now I'm thinking, like, I'm going to get my 401k one of these days when I turn 70. I'm going to be able to retire, and I might be able to go and have some fun in my retirement. So that's just pretty much what I have to say.
Absolutely. Go ahead, brother Kipp.
Well, Tom, that hit home whenever you mentioned the 401k, because there's been times that I've thought about if I would live to be old enough to even enjoy a 401k, and I'm putting all this money in there and be like, man, am I even going to make it to a day where I can actually enjoy that and reap the benefits of it? But since I've started this way of life, like, I look forward to the future now. I look forward to being able to get my life back. And I just want to encourage you, if you haven't started, or if you're struggling and with it, and you've thought about quitting, and you've thought about cheating and going off the rails, I just want to be a light to somebody and say, hey, you can do this. Because if I can do this, anybody can do this. Like, I was almost 500 pounds, and I struggled with weight my whole life, and I've tried all kinds of diets. But when I tried the carnivore diet, it changed everything. And it can change it for you. Just give it a chance and just watch it blow your mind.
That's right. Mr. Dave, go ahead, brother.
Sure. Look, from me, I just, just to echo both Tom and Kipp, I think if you haven't tried it, you need to give it a go. And it's amazing when you feel so bad, whether it's you're overweight or you've got a high blood pressure or whatever it happens to be. And you can, just by changing the way you eat, you can suddenly start feeling like you've got life to look forward to,
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, man. That, anybody watching this, can tell that, it's not, all the kinks aren't worked out, all the smoothness isn't there quite yet, but we're working on it. And that's what it just takes time. But the heart is there, and that's one of my main things that I've tried to focus on and try to look at. Like, these guys, I believe in their message. I believe in what they're saying. And I know that, I believe in their hearts, man. And I appreciate that. And the whole purpose is getting that message out to you guys. And, it's so easy to get sidetracked and fall off and whatever for a lot of people. And people need somebody who can believe in them. And I want you to know that there's hope for you. There's hope that you don't have to keep living the same way that you're living. You don't have to you don't have to have your life in a circle, ending up at the same point. You don't have to keep just merely existing. That I can't give you a time frame and I can't give you a date, but one day, 1 second, 1 minute at a time, you can get out from where you are. You can find that help. You can find that light. And all it takes is one step at a time. You're not going to do it perfect. None of us have, but you can do it, and there is hope for you, and that's the message. Like I said, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank Tom for being here. Dave, Kipp, love you guys, man. I appreciate y'all being here. And for everybody else, like, subscribe, share the content with somebody you think might need it, and we will see you. Well, some of us will see you. Some of us won't be here next week, but next week at 9 o'clock, Carnivore Live or on the channel, we'll be here talking, discussing, having a good time with you guys. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. Keep pushing forward, guys.
Cheers.
Take care. Take care.